8 Lives of Dean Martin, Fame, Tragedy, and the Hidden Side of a Legend. He was called the most carefree man in Hollywood. Dean Martin stepped onto the stage with a relaxed smile, sang as if pain had never touched him, and joked as though life were one endless party. But behind that smile was a truth few ever talked about. Dean Martin was the father of 8 children, and he outlived 2 of them. One died in a plane crash. Another passed away under circumstances that were never fully explained. And after those losses, Dean Martin himself slowly began to fade, not all at once, not publicly, but for good. His children grew up in the glow of Hollywood, surrounded by legends of music and film. Yet none of them lived a simple life. Each followed a different path, filled with fame, heartbreak, tragedy, and unexpected turns. Today, we tell the stories of all 8 of Dean Martin's children, stories that are rarely told out loud. Craig Martin, the son who chose the shadows. Dean Martin's eldest son, Craig, was born in 1942. Unlike many celebrity children, he never sought the spotlight. When Craig was just 7 years old, his parents divorced, and Dean was awarded full custody of all 4 children, an unusual decision at the time, especially in Hollywood. Interesting fact. Despite his party-loving public image, Dean Martin was a strict and deeply family-oriented father, insisting on discipline and unity at home. Craig grew up surrounded by famous faces but preferred working behind the scenes. He became a television producer and even worked on The Dean Martin Show, helping shape his own father's career. In 1987, Craig's life was shattered within a single week. First, his younger brother Dean Paul died in a tragic plane crash. Just 8 days later, Craig's wife Carol suddenly passed away from a stroke. After that, Craig nearly disappeared from public life. He chose privacy and quiet, staying close to his family. His story is that of a man who saw Hollywood from the inside, and understood the cost of fame. Claudia Martin, the daughter who walked away from the spotlight. Claudia, Dean Martin's eldest daughter, was born in 1944. She entered acting early and even appeared on screen alongside her father. During the 1960s, she acted in popular films and television series. Many believed Claudia had real talent, not just a famous last name. But success was followed by personal struggles, marriages, divorces, and the search for stability. Eventually, she made a deliberate choice to leave Hollywood behind. With her final husband, Claudia moved to Nevada and started a printing business, the complete opposite of the glamorous world she had grown up in. In 2001, Claudia died of breast cancer at just 56 years old. She became the first of Dean Martin's children to pass away. Those close to the family noticed that Dean grew far more withdrawn after her death. Gail Martin, a childhood among legends. Gail was born in 1945 and grew up in a world most people can only imagine. Liza Minnelli was her childhood friend. Frank Sinatra was Uncle Frank. And star-studded parties were simply part of everyday life. Later in life, Gail once said, "I didn't know any other life. To me, it was normal." She had a beautiful singing voice and even performed with her father, but by the late 1960s she stepped away from the stage to focus on family. She married, became a mother, and chose a quieter life. Over time, Gail became one of the key guardians of Dean Martin's legacy. Along with her siblings, she accepted his posthumous Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of the family. Deanna Martin, the keeper of the legacy. The most public of Dean Martin's children. Ironically, Dean missed her birth because he was performing on stage. Still, they remained extremely close throughout her life. Deanna trained in music and dance from an early age, frequently appearing on her father's show. She later built her own career as a singer and actress. Unlike her siblings, she deliberately embraced and carried forward the Martin musical legacy. Her memoir became a bestseller, and her tribute concerts celebrating her father's music have filled theaters around the world. Today, Deanna is widely seen as the official voice of the Martin family and the primary keeper of Dean's memory. Dean Paul Martin, the Golden Son. Born in 1951, Dean Paul quickly became the pride of the family. He excelled at everything: sports, music, acting, and aviation. He was part of the popular band Dino, Desi and Billy, earned a Golden Globe nomination as an actor, but his true passion wasn't Hollywood, it was flying. He became a military pilot, something that made his father immensely proud. On March 21, 1987, Dean Paul's jet crashed during a training mission. He was only 35 years old. Many close to the family believe that Dean Martin never truly recovered from this loss. After his son's death, he became more withdrawn, appeared less in public, and slowly began to fade. Richie Martin, the musician and storyteller. Richie was born in 1953 and grew up surrounded by music, though, interestingly, Dean Martin's records were rarely played at home. Richie became a musician, songwriter, and later an author. His book That's Amore offered a warm, honest look at life inside the Martin family. He recalled that his 21st birthday party was attended by John Lennon, David Bowie, and Elton John. In 2016, Richie died unexpectedly at age 62. The cause of death was never publicly disclosed, marking yet another painful loss for the Martin family. Gina Martin, choosing a quiet life. Gina was always the most private of the children. She showed little interest in fame and largely avoided the spotlight. Her life changed when she married Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. Their marriage was considered loving and sincere. But in 1998, Carl died of cancer, and Gina retreated even further from public life. Sasha Martin, family beyond blood. Sasha was Dean Martin's adopted daughter, but within the family, distinctions never mattered. As Richie once wrote, "We didn't divide ourselves. We were simply the Martins." Sasha briefly pursued acting in the 1990s before stepping away from the public eye to live a private, ordinary life. The story of Dean Martin's children reveals the hidden cost of fame. Behind the legendary smile was a man who endured losses no parent should have to face. He made millions laugh, but he couldn't protect those he loved most. And perhaps that is why his voice still sounds so warm, and so heartbreakingly sad, even today. The lives of Dean Martin's children teach us a lot. They grew up among legends, in the spotlight, surrounded by applause and parties that lasted until dawn. Yet despite all the glamour, each of them faced personal challenges, losses, and tragedies. Interestingly, even those who stepped away from the stage and chose a quiet life never completely turned away from their roots. In the hearts of the Martins, the love for music, for performing, for connecting with people, for laughter, and for family traditions remained strong. For Dean Martin, his children were always his greatest achievement. He could be carefree and joyful on stage, but at home, he was a caring and loving father who, despite tragedies, tried to keep his family together. Today, his children continue to cherish his memory. Deanna's concerts, Richie's stories, and their support for one another all show that the Martin family remains united despite hardships. And this legacy is far more important than any awards or applause. The love and support of family, the ability to honor those who have passed, and the courage to keep living no matter what. Listening to Dean Martin's songs today, we can hear not only his legendary voice but also the reflection of his entire family, their joys and sorrows, their strength and love, which remain with us even now.